in today's live, I really want to share with you 3 essential tools that you need to be able to not only just set boundaries, but make them stick. So there was someone in the chat earlier in the week, in the last few weeks, that have been asking the question about, it's easy enough to set boundaries, but then, a week later, 2 weeks later, I find myself back where I was. So if that's you, this video, what we'll be exploring are 3 essential tools that you need, not only to be able to set boundaries, but to be able to make them stick. Now, I explore this in a lot more detail in my upcoming book. So if you have not yet registered on the book launch, it's tomorrow. You'll have the chance to access my book for a really, really cheap price of $2.99. So grab yourself a ticket onto the launch and you'll be in the draw to win a place on my upcoming July retreat. I'll also be giving some great giveaways. So I really look forward to it. And it's also my birthday the next day. So I'm super excited and I can't wait to see you all there. I'll pop the link for the book launch in the draw, in the comments. But for now, let's explore what are the 3 things we need to be able to set boundaries and also to make them stick. And these are essential inner leadership qualities to make sure that when we have a conversation, it lands. The first essential step is to know that you're worthy. Now, I know this sounds very cliche, but here's the problem. If we perceive ourselves as below someone, we will be afraid to ask or to set boundaries. Now, if you can imagine life like a seesaw, there are times when we put someone on a pedestal, when we assume that they know more or are more or can be more or are better at something. And ultimately, when we come from that perspective and we come from a place of infatuation or admiration or looking up to someone, we assume a position that we are below them. And that immediately makes it difficult to ask for what you need. So the first key step is to know that nobody is above you. Yes, people may have skills in different areas that you don't, but you'll also have skills and attributes in other areas that they don't. So it turns out to be an even balance. And when we can take people off the pedestal and realize that we're all just human beings, it makes a conversation a little easier to flow. Now, ultimately, the opposite can be true as well. Sometimes we can be in a position where we're looking down on someone. When we assume to know more, to be more, they should be doing this, I'm right, they're wrong. And that's no good either, because ultimately that creates imbalance. So what we want to do is to balance the seesaw and realize, okay, there's no one above me, there's no one below me. We are all authentic human beings with different skills, different insights, different talents, different strengths, and we're all here offering something to the world in a way that we can contribute. And if you can remove someone from a pedestal, that is the first step in ensuring that you have the voice to be able to share and ask for what you need. So the first step is to take people off the pedestal, and that comes from knowing that you're worthy, knowing that you are enough, knowing that you are valued and able to speak your mind or speak your opinion or state your needs in a calm way. So step number 1, know you're worthy. Get people off the pedestal. They're just another human being, and make sure you can have a conversation that way. Step number two, know what it is specifically that you value. It's very easy to start a conversation about boundaries because you feel annoyed or frustrated at something, but you haven't yet clarified specifically what that is. Look, I just don't like it when you do X, Y, Z. I really want you to do A, B, C. And if you're not clear in what it is that you value and specifically what's important to you and why, the conversation can sound a bit wishy-washy. I just don't like it when I just don't like you. So the conversation needs to be clear. Like when you feel that edge of frustration, like someone's crossed your boundary, it pays to be able to really reflect on what is it specifically that has me on edge. And if you can, and I go through this process on my retreat and in my program, is really helping women understand what's important to them in an area of life, but also what's important to them about different aspects of their life. What's really important to me about my relationships? What's really important to me about my work? And once you're very clear on that, you can state very clearly, actually, this boundary has been crossed because this is important to me. Now, it makes it a lot easier if you have a conversation with someone at the beginning of your relationship to say, hey, this is important to me, what's important to you? And that way you have clarity and communication to ensure boundaries aren't crossed. But who agrees that ultimately what we know when we're developing knowledge and internal and self-awareness, sometimes we get clearer on our values throughout our life. So it pays to have a good conversation with those around you, those people who are in your lives, to understand what is it that I need and what is it that is most important to me. So step number 1, don't put someone on a pedestal, know that you are worthy. It's a really great quote by Dr. Demartini. Whatever you have or have not done, you are worthy of love. And know that you are not above or below anybody else, and you are enough. Step number 2, know what's important. Don't be wishy-washy about this. Get very clear. What is it specifically that's important to me that I need upheld in this relationship, whether it's an intimate relationship or whether it's a working relationship? What is it that's important to me? Number 3 is to overcome the hurdles. And here are the hurdles. There's 2 main ones. Number 1 is worry. Like, oh, I'm worried if I have this conversation, everything will be catastrophic, everything will cascade, he'll leave me, I'll lose my job. We can start to catastrophize. And so ultimately, the voice of worry can start to take over when we've been in a place of nervous system high alert. So we need to take a breath, relax the belly, and ask the question, what do I trust about myself and about life? What does the voice of encouragement and courage have to share with me, so I can start to turn down the volume on the voice of worry? So the voice of worry is a little hurdle. The other hurdle to setting boundaries is the people pleaser. Oh, I don't want to rock the boat. I want to make sure everyone's happy. And the problem with both of those hurdles is that when those hurdles prevent us having a courageous or a setting boundary conversation, guess what happens? We start to get resentful. And it's not resentful, it might look like resentment at the other person, but the truth is that we're resentful at ourselves for not being able to simply voice what we need. So when you find yourself looping in that resentment, that is a true indicator that you've left this conversation longer than it needs to, and you actually need to take a deep breath, acknowledge, yes, I feel a bit worried, yes, I don't want to rock the boat, and I need to have the courage to voice. Now, so they're the 3 kind of steps that you need to be able to make boundaries stick, because if you believe that your needs aren't worthy, that someone's above you, then you'll always put them first. If you believe that you're not clear on what's important, you'll be wishy-washy about setting boundaries, and then nothing really gets actioned. If you don't overcome the hurdle of worry and people pleasing, then you're always looping before you have a conversation, and then you start looping in resentment. So those 3 strategies are super important to be able to make boundaries stick. Now, here's the thing. How to create a setting boundaries conversation. Now, I've just been through this on my retreat, and I'm also outlining it in great detail in my book. So it'll be really important for you guys to grab that book to be able to read it. But creating a boundary conversation involves, number 1, you're getting calm, clear, and curious, which means to turn your heart into a coherent state so you're not coming at a conversation with boxing gloves on. Because who agrees, if you come at a conversation after being through a period of resentment because someone stepped on your boundaries, you're holding it on too long, you're trying to please, make sure you don't rock the boat, you're not sure you deserve it, and all of that can create an agitated or nervous system state that means we come at things with a left-right hook, which is never beneficial. It never works. So part of making sure you have that conversation in a way that serves, in a way that can flow, is to manage your own state. Now, I'll go through some really clear strategies on that. I'm going to be running a virtual retreat next week. I'll be running some workshops next week during the week as well. So if you're interested in all of that, I can go through some details. Just type workshop in the chat and I'm happy to share. So here's the framework. Number one, know you're worthy. You're not above or below anyone. You are equally valued. Number two, get very clear on your values and what is exactly important specifically, because then you can be clear in your conversation. Number three, overcome the hurdles of worrying and people pleasing, because when you loop behind those hurdles and can't overcome them, then the only thing that happens is resentment. So part of it is like, well, what would the voice of encouragement have to say? I acknowledge that I feel apprehensive, and I'm going to take a deep breath, and I'm going to come into this conversation with a calm nervous system. So I'm not coming from a place of resentment, but I'm coming from a place of open heart and a very clear mind. So I hope some of those strategies have helped you.